Right guys, this is my entry for the Summer's Woodworking 2014 Birdhouse competition. Now, I will warn you, it's a bit childish, some of you might get a bit offended, but that's not the intention of the video. The birdhouse that I'm making is for a species of bird that we've got in the UK, which is called a blue tit. Now, from that name you can probably guess what the birdhouse is going to be like, so use your discretion and I hope you enjoy it. I think it's funny anyway. I wanted this project to be a limited tools project, so I'm literally just using the tools that you can see here. I started off by measuring the piece of wood that I'd got in my workshop. It measures 20 centimetres wide, so I measured down 20 centimetres and made a couple of marks. This will give me a 20 centimetre square. I'll want 3 of these pieces, one for the bottom and the other 2 for the sides of the birdhouse. I use a set square to join the marks together just to give me a straight line to follow with the jigsaw. Now, I'm really rubbish with the jigsaw, so I won't be able to keep to the line. I'm sure of it, you'll be able to see in a couple of seconds, but it's nice to have a straight line to start with. Now, because it's a limited tools project, I'm just using the jigsaw to cut it. A good tip, to hold the piece of wood while you're cutting with the jigsaw, you could use a table saw. Use the table saw to hold the wood while you cut it with a jigsaw. You can see I have trouble keeping to the line. I just sand the inside of those pieces just to make sure that the birds don't get any splinters when they're inside. I drill some pilot holes. This is to join the sides to the bottom. I added some glue in between that joint and then drove in some screws. The first screw I put in with my other drill, but the battery ran out, so I had to resort to using this little Bosch one, but it worked okay. For the other side I had time to charge the batteries and I used my original drill to drive in those screws. There was glue in that joint as well. And that's what I was left with after joining the sides to the bottom. I took 2 pieces, cut them to rough length with a jigsaw and give myself a couple of marks that I knew I had to keep around those marks so it would fit in front of my bottom and 2 side pieces that I'd just created. Off camera, I've got my iPad set up with a reference image. Now I'm making sure that I've got a rough idea of size that I want to go with, and I'll do a quick rough sketch that I'll cut out later with a jigsaw. I bet you can guess what it's going to be. Cutting out the pieces now with the jigsaw. I've just got the piece clamped to my workbench. Sorry about the vibrations on the camera, but the vibrations must have passed through the floor and started shaking the camera on the tripod. Flipped it round and finished off the rest of the cuts on the other side. I use the same method to cut out the top part of the sketch, and that's what I'm left with. This is me drilling and screwing and gluing the parts on for the back of the birdhouse. I used the exact same method except no glue for the top lid, and then I screwed on the front part. Unfortunately my camera filled up its memory, so I haven't got any video of that, but it's just literally glued and screwed to the top. I covered the roof with some felt that I had spare and used some felt nails to attach it. The reason I didn't put glue in is so I could gain access into the birdhouse if I needed to. Now I've already put a flesh coloured tone onto the birdhouse, and I'm just filling in. You've probably guessed already, I'm colouring in the bra blue at the moment. You can see I've also drilled the hole ready for the birds to be able to get in and out. It is a bit off centre and a bit to the left, but I can say it's natural. It's not everybody's perfect, not everything's symmetrical, so gives it the natural look. Plus, if I'd have put it in the right place, the birds wouldn't have been able to get in anyway, so that's the main reason. Now, I'm just checking my reference image again to make sure they look okay. I'm just spending a bit too much time looking at the reference image. See it? Just adding a darker tone to define the bra. Very technical, this part. Now I'm filling in the shirt part at the top red. I wanted to give it the kind of effect to the shirt being lifted up. So just your bold red to contrast with the blue. Now I obviously did the blue bra because it's for Blue Tits. I went ahead and used the permanent marker to define some of the lines, and I'm just adding the Summer's Woodworking tattoo logo for the birdhouse competition. And there's the tattoo done. Like I say, it's just a little fun project. Right, I hope you like it. This is the finished birdhouse. Now, as you can see, it is childish. It is a bit of a laugh. Now, the birdhouse itself, I can't really see it being used because Mum and Dad, I ain't even going to bother asking. They won't have this in the garden, so I shall probably just keep it in my workshop somewhere as a reminder of entering this competition. While I'm on about the competition, big thank you to Brian at Summer's Woodworking for running the competition. It's not the winning, nothing to do with the prizes, it's purely the taking part, seeing the inspiration from other woodworkers coming up with their ideas for different birdhouses, and also with the 2x4 competition. It just brings the community together and it's something to look forward to, and that's the main thing. Always remember that, something to look forward to, something to get involved with. As you would have seen in the video, very rustic construction. I've got gaps everywhere, basic glue and screwed all together. It's not the prettiest of things, but it gets the job done, and I've entered the competition, I've joined in. So if you're thinking of making any videos or joining in any competitions, don't hold back, give it a go, get in your workshop and start building.